Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity. People tell me every day nothing's gonna come my way. Searching for clues that I'll find. Nothing that's gonna last. I wanna live and forget the past. I know that change is gonna do me. I know that change is gonna do me. Even though it hurts me now, I know that change is gonna do me. You gotta come, let me know. Don't hold back now. Give me a sign. Let me dream, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. All this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change is do me
Some of them may actually get it.
I know even though it hurts me I know this change will do me good.
Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual News Production on Blog Talk Radio on freeconferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships between values. Aloha and welcome to tonight's Andrew Aloha Live. Tonight we have, believe it or not, he's right next to me. Brett, what the heck are you doing here?
I'm here to see you, brother.
Whoa!
On the show.
Holy cow, brother, how'd that happen?
Just a simple invite and a great connection.
All right. All the way out of Sedona, Arizona. Tonight we're talking with Brett
Labit. Yeah.
Labit. Okay, Labit. And tonight we're going to be talking about WEVO. We Evolve. Is that short for We Evolve?
That's it.
You got it. So, and we're going to be talking to Brett here in a few minutes. Just to let you know, WEVO is a unique and involved social network. Enrich your life, grow your business, make the world better type of thing. Its mission is to awaken individuals to unity and collaboration through organized effort and energy. WEVO is a culture that creates and fosters unity, harmony, collaboration, responsibility, co-creation, caring, serving, support, accurate thought, and action to help you grow personally and grow your business. The law of reciprocity.
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 You're not the first one to do that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I have that following my orders sometimes. But anyhow, the law of reciprocity is spoken and empowered here, and real relationships are forged. You are free to be you in WEVO. WEVO is a member-based collaborative club that perpetuates personal and business growth while doing good in the world. Its members facilitate organized effort and energy in an illuminated and conscious culture to help you achieve what you desire in life. In June of 2016, that's last year, about a year ago, Labit began development of the convergence of social media and face-to-face networking in an illuminated culture to create success for WEVO's members. WEVO is now a collaborative, conscious, and responsible network to build life and business anywhere in the world. If you are looking for an opportunity to do something meaningful and fun, this is your tribe. If you are a business wanting to grow, this is your tribe. If you want to be part of a real solution, this is your tribe. Welcome to the revolution. Revolution, Labit. Okay, Brett, this is about Brett Labit, who is founder of WEVO. If you want more information on Brett Labit and WEVO, you can go to WevoGlobal.com, www.wevoglobal.com. In the meantime, I do want to give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make the show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Maha Dikini Lorei at www.mahadikini.com. Maha Dikini Lorei's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dikini Lorei is also a graduate of Margot Nun's year-long Sky Dancing Tantric Facilitator Training Program, as well as a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, and a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. And then we also have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul true life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what Ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself and your emotions, opinions, and mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with the endeavors and never look back if you dare. Now, if you guys want to, just let you know that last year I wrote the book version of this to supplement the journey so that people can understand this better for themselves. And so anyhow, if you go to www.90dayascensionjourney.com, literally I'm offering, you can put it right here on the there we go. Perfect.
Copy.
Yeah, right. I just gave a copy of this to Brett so that he can read it for himself. But anyhow, you guys can, if you go to www.90dayascensionjourney.com, I have that book available for free. You can download it for free for the simple act of just giving, inputting your email. It's really that simple. So I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for, but right now, if you go to www.90dayascensionjourney.com, if you put your email in there and confirm it, you can download the free PDF version of it and read it for yourself if you want. So anyhow, finally, we do have the 2017 MUFON Symposium at www.mufonsymposium.com. MUFON is the oldest and largest civilian UFO investigative organization in the United States. It has been dedicated to finding the truth about UFOs through its mission of investigation, research, and education. This year, there are a number of speakers presenting at the MUFON Symposium, including Dr. James Woodward, Michael Schrott, Dr. Michael Sala, and Debbie Ziegelmeyer. Jan Harzan, director of MUFON, invites you to attend the MUFON Symposium in Las Vegas, Nevada from the 21st to the 23rd of July and actively participate in the case for a secret space program. To be streamed live if you want, and check it out. And again, if you just have to be at home and you want to still check it out, you can still check it out live. You can go to spiritualimproductions.com. On the left-hand side, there's a link that says Andrew Aloha Live. Click on that. If you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see a link where you can click on that, and that'll give you the information as well. Check out the site for more info. You can go to mufonsymposium.com. Go there, and there's some information there about the live stream if you want to check out the live stream as well. So anyhow, we're back with Dr. Brett Labit. I mean, Brett Dr. Labit, right? So anyhow, a few weeks ago, I was in Sedona. You know, I've lived out here in Arizona for over 22 years officially now, and a lot of it, that time period, has been living in West Sedona. So, I've known one of the members for quite a long time. She says, well, why don't you come out and check out WEVO? What the heck is WEVO? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this, an egg? What are you talking about? So I did. I 8 o'clock in the morning. What are you funny? I live all the way in Flagstaff, and this meeting starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's from 8 to 9 in the morning. And so I said, okay, fine. So I did. I went down there. I checked it out, and I met Brett here. He's the founder of WEVO, and he seems to have a lot of good intentions, and also what's the word I want to use? He seems a lot of ambition for this company, WEVO. So anyhow, they have this thing where you put your business card in the hat in the bucket, and if your name gets drawn, you can get to present the following week.
Yeah.
Sure enough, my name got drawn, and I go, oh, I guess I have to go back to WEVO the next week too. So 8 o'clock in the morning, come on. I had to wake up at 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning just to get my butt over right? So I said, okay, fine, I'll go check it out. So so I did. I went back and I presented. Guess what I presented? Yep, there it is. The 90-Day Ascension Journey, my latest book, my only book. I told everyone about it, and anyhow, so and I haven't been able to make it back since because it's too early in the morning for me. But that's one. But anyhow, I said, Brett, why don't we do an interview and talk to you and bring you on and just kind of tell us your story and see what's going on. So, Brett, first of all, just kind of give us a bio of who Brett is, where you were born at, where you're raised, how you got to where you're at now, and then we'll talk about WEVO. How's that?
Brilliant. I love it. And I love that this is called an interview, and we talked about that earlier. So thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for the interview. I'm excited about that.
Now, what he's saying is, when I do these shows, I don't necessarily do an interview, I-N-T-E-R. I do in an interview, I-N-N-E-R. And what most people don't even realize when they come on the show and do an interview with me is that we're doing a heart-to-heart talk.
Yeah.
About whatever's going on. So anyhow, go ahead.
So I think in the spirit of heart-to-heart talks, it's important to be transparent and always authentic, but definitely transparent. And so, yeah, childhood was great. I was born out in Southern California in the city of Orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I lived there for 7.5 months. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't remember it other than traveling back through in my car.
I remember it very good, but that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I showed back up. I was born and then my party days in Orange County. I had a very normal childhood, meaning it wasn't normal at all because that's the new normal. And so, blonde hair, blue eyes. My stepdad, since I was 4 years old, Filipino. His previous marriage, he had 2 beautiful children, Roland and Christine. That was my brother and sister. So they're my older brother and sister are half Japanese, half Filipino. Then my Caucasian mom marries the Filipino guy, my stepdad, Rolando, who I love very much, passed, but he was my real dad. And I'm in the middle, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed one. And then on the other side, they had my younger brother and sister, Landon and Brandon, which are half Filipino, half American, Caucasian. And so we had like the mix growing up. And my dad used to introduce me as the short Filipino guy, tall blonde son. He would introduce me, and when we would run into friends and say, "This is my blonde-haired, blue-eyed son," and they would look at him like, "How did that happen?" And I don't know if you remember the commercial, but Ancient Chinese Secret. Yeah, that commercial. He would always say that. So I had a very loving family. My parents were dreamers. They had a lot of ambition, but for whatever reason, they never really caught the real secret. They had some great success in their life, a good amount of failure. They never really hit that big stride that they were looking for. And so my dad, up until he passed, worked very hard in his life, and my mom worked hard taking care of all of us. And
were they business people too, or what did they do?
They were. They opened restaurants. They had a shipping business. Opportunities would come along that they would want to capitalize on, and they would really put their heart and soul into it. But I really do believe that what people are going to learn is We've been taught that hard work, time, and skill is the key to success. And the fact of the matter is there are a lot of hardworking people that put in their time and have a lot of skill and never really achieve what they want. So there's got to be something more. There's got to be something different.
And in this day and age, with the communication age, with the computer era, the types of jobs and skills are so much more different than what they used to be.
They are, and so growing up, I started learning these principles. I started learning what I call today is the real secret. And so I had an entrepreneurial life. I went to high school, attended college for a week, and I was making a lot of money as a youngster. And
doing what? What are you talking about?
I was landscaping courtyards. I would go work 4 hours in Palm Springs, and I'd make $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and so from an early age, living out in Palm Springs, I got to see $20 million, $30 million homes, and somehow I got in my mind that was what I wanted in life. Is I wanted this big pile of money,
so and buy your own $20 million home.
I had a $20 million home, and you don't know, right? You're impressionable, and you're not that there's anything wrong with that, but in my life, that became my new measurement yardstick for success.
Got it.
And eventually you find yourself chasing this pile of money that you don't even know if you really want to have or not. And so I spent a lot of my life doing that. And as I would build companies, I'd feel a bit disconnected. And so I've been an entrepreneur. I've had the highs and lows, and all of that led me to a beautiful point here where I've got my 3 beautiful children and a wonderful global company, and out there hopefully touching lives one by one. So
got it, yeah. Now, what kind of entrepreneur gigs have you had?
So, for example, one of my companies. It's funny because when you bring that up, I think about my 2 boys that literally went in the neighborhood and found dirty rocks. They didn't even clean them up. They didn't even clean them up. And they went and they sold them in the neighborhood with dirt and mud and everything on them. And they came back with $13. And I was like, well, if I think back, I probably started similar to that.
Right? Yeah. Well, I guess there's something about working with the earth and being grounded. Yeah. That makes you guys popular or financially capable, I guess.
Right. And so for example, I was in the cell phone world selling cell phones and pretty disheartened, and I knew a buddy up in Spokane, Washington, and he was a computer programmer, like engineering. And one day we were talking, and I said, John, what's going on with life? And he goes, oh, I'm a window washer, and I'm having the time of my life. And I'm like, how does a computer engineer or software engineer end up washing windows? And he said, I have no stress. I go to a house, I take my shirt off, I get a tan, I make a couple $100 a day, blah, blah, blah. His life was good. He was living life outside of the box.
Well, maybe, but maybe not, because being healthy is your wealth, okay? And stress is the #1 killer of everyone. Yeah. And the more stress you have to deal with, the sooner you're going to die. So the less stress you are, the longer you're going to live.
Well, and that's what I felt. What I saw in John was he was actually out doing something, making less money, but happier.
Absolutely.
And healthier, and feeling good. And so I got the idea, well, I'm going to get a truck and a ladder and a squeegee and a bucket, and I got his recipe. All right. And I went out and started washing windows. And long story short, we ended up with hundreds of residential clients, and then we ended up with Staples stores and Office Depots and Walmarts, and we built a good, growing company, good growing small business.
Got it.
And then, other opportunities. Did
you sell that company?
I attempted to and had no business selling the company because I didn't know what I was doing, and eventually it
bottomed out.
Yeah, it just kind of bottomed out. Right. But it was a big success in a lot of ways, and it scaled so fast and was scaling that you start learning what you don't know about big business. Right. So I started touching the fringes of big business, and that really kind of led me to this point today. So
nowadays, You know, yeah, and I've been working with doing online entrepreneurship, and they'll tell you, you build a business not for the purpose of keeping it for the rest of your life, but to sell it later on down the road for a good penny, and then make your profit, and then move on to the next one.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So it's like that.
I find myself in a bit of a conundrum, I guess, with that, because it is conventional wisdom. It does make financial sense. It does probably make sense in the life cycle of a business, but for the first time, my heart has completely connected with what I do.
Right.
And so I think what my future, and feel what my future is probably a partial exit about 3 years down the road, and just travel, speak, write, have fun, perpetuate the message, but have a CEO replace me. So I don't know that I want to unplug and completely sell out. Because my heart's so connected to what we're doing.
See, that's what the CEOs and the corporate people tell you to do. But when you're a saint, and I'm not talking about some kind of cult leader or anything like that. I'm talking about an authentic person that their whole, every step, every action, every word and deed is all about service to those around them. Then you don't build an ashram for the purpose of selling it and making money and not making a profit. You build it to give people a place of sanctity to be able to reside at if they want to for a period of time until they're ready for the next step and then move on.
That's right.
Like that. So I guess it just depends on what your objective is.
Well, and how you define success. One of the things I've learned as I've traveled and spoken to large groups, is I'll do a test in the crowd. And the test is really designed to expose our conscious definition of success and our subconscious definition of success. So consciously, when asked, what I'll usually do on the crowd is I'll say, okay, imagine someone successful walking into the room. Now, get their name in your head. As soon as you hear it, blurt it out. And they'll say Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey. They're all people of fame and fortune and popularity and profit. Okay? But then if you ask someone consciously, what would your life look like successful? They talk about relationships and time and family. Not that billionaire lifestyle. Not that either one is right or wrong.
Exactly.
It's just the subconscious paradigm of success is popularity and profit, which consequently the antonym of that is a failure or nobody. That's the way we subconsciously define it. So you have a small group of people in popularity and profit that are feeling good based on the definition. You have a much larger group of people not feeling good based on that subconscious definition. So what I'm asking people to do today is, this is a very personal thing that no one can define for you. So you've got to get very real with what success is looking like for you and how that's going to translate.
Exactly. And that's it. That's it. You know, because I just got done listening to Robert Kiyosaki's 4 quadrants.
Yeah, the cash flow quadrant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, he talks about people in the E quadrant, employment quadrant, which most people are in being employed. They work for someone or some company, some corporation, and that's where they're at. And then there's a self-employed quadrant where people work for themselves, but they don't really have a huge business. It's just small-time business.
Yeah, the business runs them to a degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they have the B quadrant, which is the business owned or the system. A person builds a system, and the whole idea is that that person can walk away from that business for a whole year and come back, and the whole business will be better than they started, than when they left.
Absolutely.
So they can walk away and come back and they'll be fine no matter what. They'll still be making money. And then finally, there's the I quadrant with investment.
Yep.
Now, I kept thinking and mulling this over, and I thought, well, so what if people are working? So what if people are self-employed?
Yeah.
If they're happy there, who cares?
Amen, brother.
Right?
I had this conversation yesterday, the day before, probably today. I used to actually look at life from my lens, thinking everyone needed to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And the reality is not everybody in business is an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurs much different than someone owning a business.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people owning a business that are still in the comfort of owning that business and are afraid to really do what an entrepreneur does, which is kind of really put it all on the line. But they will take some risks. And then I used to judge the employee quadrant thinking, why would anyone want to settle for that? But the reality is, based on their own personal definition of success, they may be more congruent than anyone we would define over here in a different quadrant.
Exactly.
Because they're doing exactly what is purposed in their heart.
They're still in their constitution, within their constitution.
Right.
And they're fine. So you know, there's going to be a number of leaders, and there's going to be a number of followers, or bees. But that's just all part of the process, and all the part. As long as everybody is happy, who cares?
And I'd almost evolve it even a little bit more, and I believe you're right, or accurate, and I would evolve it even more and say, to some degree, we all are leading, and to some degree, we are all following.
Exactly.
There's always a hand up and a hand down, and hopefully, the hand up is people pulling us up and helping us to evolve, and the hand down is us pulling people up and helping them to evolve, and we're really creating the essence of collaboration.
And now, I can't remember who said this, but I think it was Carolyn Mice. I can't. Again, I don't know. But this person says, as long as you're doing what's in your heart and you feel good about it, you can't go wrong with that.
I agree 100%. Now, if what's in your heart is you want to live in a beach home, and you want to live, and that's really the real deal. It's not put there by some program or society's paradigm, but that's really what you want. Then I do believe you want to pick a vehicle that you're passionate about that's going to get you there so that you can enjoy that. Because that's where people start to disconnect, is they really won't internalize and define what it is that they're dreaming about, what it is that's constantly on their heart, that they're really connected to, of how they want to feel more than anything, right? The emotions and the feelings that they have associated with that dream. But what I found is when people will do that, they can back off from there and create definite purpose.
Exactly.
And as we were talking about before the show, I say no to so many things because of that definite purpose. And if it doesn't align with the one thing that I do, then it's not coming onto my plate and chewing up time.
Well, now you said a really good thing right there that's worthwhile looking at. I think most, or at least 50% of the people on the populace on this planet, they're disconnected. They don't even know what they want out of life.
No,
to begin with.
And you're being kind. I've interviewed thousands, and I would say that it's 85% or higher.
And that's probably, that could be true too. I don't know, but and you're right. I'm being very
conservative.
Yeah, well, and and that's why I do what I do. Obviously, I'm not making a mint off the show, and I haven't since the get-go.
But we have good tea,
good water, blessed water.
Yes,
but obviously the Hugging Saints, and then and tea that will that's good for your bronchial, I guess. Right now, that's what I need from the episode that I had a few months ago.
Sure.
In the morning. But anyhow, so you grew up in California, and your parents were both business people. Is it safe to say that?
Yeah. And then my dad would bounce in and out of businesses, and then back into hotel. Running banquets and being a banquet captain in the hotel business. Big hotels, Marriott, people like that, DoubleTree. And, he worked hard until he passed.
Now, when did he pass?
It was back in, 2003. He was 62.
Really? My dad was, I think he was in the late 60s, early 70s. But he passed in 2005. So,
yeah.
So, and then you start, now, we were talking earlier, and you've already run a number of businesses, and you said you had another business prior to WEVO, and you changed it, you actually had several thousand people involved in that business and that social media type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then you did WEVO. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. The first version really was meant to be a local, just a local tribe. I mean, I really didn't have aspirations of building a global company, but the idea resonated so much that ultimately it just took itself that direction, and I was obedient to it. But the first version, we had a lot of success and a lot of growth and a lot of it really resonated with the public, but it wasn't built to scale, and then we just really made a lot of rookie mistakes, letting it go out into areas that we really couldn't support as the world was pulling it out and it wasn't ready. And the brand was a bit cold, something I learned. And if you're going to go through a brand change, you don't want to go through it too late, and you don't want to go through it too often. You want to kind of do it strategic when it's time to pivot. And so the strategic time came along, and I started really asking the question, the same question that every individual should ask: what do I really want? What do I really want with this company, for people, for me, for the planet? And in the introspection and the meditation of that came the concept of we evolve, right? We want to help people evolve. The world is changing fast, and as much digital connectivity and communication as we have lost a degree of real connection. And what we're doing is bringing that real connection back in what we call collaborative, conscious, and responsible tribe. Right. So that's why we went through the brand change, and it changed our model a little bit, but the heart and the core was still the same, just a bit evolved.
So now, what was the name of the company?
Local Impact Zone.
Okay, Local Impact Zone. And what was your main objective, main objectives with that?
Well, the first buyer persona that would be attracted to us, and what we wanted to do was just get small businesses together that otherwise would not have a chance to be seen or heard in today's world. A lot of people are under the misconception they're going to be seen online, and it's unfortunately just not a reality.
Exactly.
They don't have the expertise or the budget.
Exactly, unless they know how to market.
Right. If they have the expertise, you got a chance.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, you got companies like Geico spending hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing because that's what it takes.
Exactly.
Right. And so, and they put out a good message and they get good attention. The average small business is not going to be able to do that. So I started realizing that if I could bring them together and get them to put their petty differences aside, right? Like, oh, he said that, or they did that, or I don't like so-and-so because they're a bit abrupt. And the idea of harmonic culture started evolving in my mind. Bring these businesses into tribe. Create harmonic culture, meaning they will evolve themselves and become more consciously aware of allowing people to be long enough that they could get traction doing business with each other to what I call today, our members actually care and support each other. And if I could do that, they would have a good chance at success, whatever that meant to them, without having to break the bank. So they could scale their company, they could scale their budgets, they could scale their growth, and they would do it through collaboration versus trying to become the expert or buy the expert.
What's the name of that company? Anyhow, there's a company that I think is doing something similar, but I think most all what they've done is they've come together. They've built like a social media website where people can go in, and if you get paid certain dues, then you can have access to certain tools and certain information about other entrepreneurs within the network. Sure, but I don't think they're bringing them together. Maybe in a conference once or twice a year, some of them maybe in that way they are. But otherwise, they're not bringing them together as a group regularly every week like you are and so forth. So and they have all kinds of tools where you can do all kinds of stuff. There's a free version, there's a paid version. I got in on it at the very get-go, and the people that were in it at the get-go then could get the free version and not have to pay anything or whatever. But but there's still other tiers where you can pay. But anyhow, I didn't really find it very useful because unless I'm going to have a paid version, unless I get a paid version, and even then I don't know that I would get I don't know if I would get the benefits that I would want.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I didn't pursue it any further. I just left it at that.
Yeah, I think there are several organizations, and I won't say they're good, they're bad. They're relevant in their own way, doing their own thing. What really started to be impressed on my heart and on my mind is I started looking at multiple targets with one arrow. Right? I started looking at the authentic leadership and the current condition of the world. I started looking at the shrinking middle class. Right? You know, in 1970, let's say 61% represented the middle class in America, and today it's below 50%.
Wow.
So what that means is a smaller pool of buyers. So if you're trying to grow a small business, or you're an individual looking for a job and want to work in a career, there's a smaller pool of buyers out there because the pool of people that can afford to buy products and services consistently and have the budget for that outside of the basics.
Exactly.
So you look at that factor, and then I started doing studies on the velocity of the dollar in the U.S. and all over the world. and what a lot of people don't realize, if you Google U.S. velocity of the dollar and look at the graphs, you're going to see a graph that goes like this. And then it's going to take a massive drop. And you're going to see that drop at below where it was in the Great Depression.
Wow. That's even worse.
Right. So not only a smaller pool of buyers, but you have a slower dollar. And people are out there putting their life's work and money and investment into growing a business or a career. And they're wondering why
they're having a hard time.
They're having a hard time. And plus, they've been taught the wrong secret.
Exactly.
If you're going to work hard, have a skill, and put in your time, you're going to win. We all know millions of people that have done all three, right, and still don't win.
And still crash and burn.
Right. There's a different formula. And so what I realized a while back is I couldn't just build a widget. I couldn't just build a machine that said, hey, if you pay us X, you're going to get access to certain materials, right? I realized that what I needed to do was create DNA, what we call WEVO DNA. There are 8 of them. And tonight we might talk about 4, but create these DNA and actually show people how to primarily, for the DNA, number 1, be an authentic leader. That's the start, the rise and fall of everything, authentic leadership. Number 2, attract tribe. Your network is your net worth. You're going to need to know how to create influence to attract tribe. And then number 3 is what good is the tribe if they're all divided, if they're all scattered. So you have to create harmonic culture. They got to want to be there. They got to want to be with you, right? They got to want to be part of you, and you got to want to be part of them.
Right.
And then the 4th piece is align effort and energy. And to me, that's the true mastermind. You now have the tribe and all of those people. Bring them together and align their effort and energy so that the parts serve the whole, and the whole serves the parts. And just one other quick note with that, the 2 big things that I think the world lacks now that we're so connected is it lacks harmonic global culture and it lacks authentic leadership.
Exactly, right. And it's probably a good timing that you're doing this because right now they're talking about impeaching Trump, and he's not the only leader out there that's going through some crap, Right. That's the point. So I tell you what I want to do is go ahead and play some music. Now, believe it or not, for those of you, here we go. This is a good one. For those of you that have been watching the show, listening to the show, and there are people that have listened to the show every week or whatever for months. I don't know, 2 or 3 years or whatever. I don't know. And I don't know who all these people are, but sometimes they'll come on the show and they'll tell me. I go, oh, wow, that's pretty good. But anyhow, for those of you that haven't know the show or seen several episodes of the show, I know that I haven't done a music show in a while. And Sunday night, we're going to be bringing this woman right here on. Her name is Zahira. All the way out. I think she's in Oregon, but I think she lives in California, in San Francisco or something like that. Anyhow, she came up with an album called Rise Up, and here's the back. And for those of you watching on Ustream, you can see this on Ustream. But you can. I'm showing the front cover and then also the back cover, so you can check it out for yourself. But anyhow, we're going to be bringing her on a Sunday night. Oh, and for those people that come in and listen to the show and want to call in, I'll personally be sending the first 3 callers a free album, a free copy of the album.
Wonderful.
So anyhow, I listened to that music, and wow, there's some really nice stuff on it. She's got a pretty good size following too. I was pretty surprised.
I'm excited to hear it.
So anyhow, we're going to play this song, and this is befitting of all of our leadership going on here now. A lot of the leadership going on in our country, in our world today. She's got this song called "Rude Boy," again by this Zahira from her album Rise Up. And we're going to send out love, blessings, healing, angels, and light and love to all the leaders out there.
Perfect.
Especially the rude boys, right?
Perfect.
And then and especially to Trump.
Yep.
And all his entourage. He needs all the help he can get. Of course, to you and your family and friends. To me and my family and friends. To all of our places of residence and vehicles that take care of us. And earlier, and you talked about moving. So we're going to send out love, light, blessings, and healings and angels to your new place of residence. And remind me, because that's one of the things that I do on this journey, especially for business people that are interested in working with business on a much higher level. I tell them, sit down, either write a letter to the spirit of their company or corporation, and talk to it like a person.
Yeah.
Or write it a letter. Either sit down and just talk to it. You meditated on it, which is just as good because you're still listening. Yeah. And the whole idea is that you can have a conversation as well, not just listen and ask it. What is it that you want me to know about you, and what kind of activities you want me to do about?
Yeah, I like that.
And so I've sat down to talk to the spirit of the company, the corporation, and some very interesting information has come through. So anyhow, that's one of the things I do teach. But we're going to send out love, blessings, healings, angels, light, love to all the kids and the animals and the plants on the planet, especially the ones in concern. Anyone want to add to that?
You're covering it. I love it. I just any and all beings. So we've got to send it out continuously. So
I keep forgetting this, but I want to send out love, blessings, healings, angels, light, love to all the aliens and the fairies and gnomes and all the other little beings and all the other beings that are supporting humanity, supporting us and helping us out. I want to send out. And maybe to the ones that aren't too, because they might need it too, right? All the help we can love for everyone. So, anyhow, Rude Boy by Zahira from her album Rise Up. So again, we're bringing her in on Sunday night, same time, same place. And if you like the music, come on, talk to us, and we'll get you a free copy of her album to the first 3 people. All right?
Beautiful.
We will be back.
Very kind.
Every day is Johnson. You make my life the you could be shot by a police, my soul. Young lady, spoiler. If every day comes shooting, another brother become a victim. But it's a tilted on time. He's a victim of the life you just come in. I couldn't situation. Cause nobody's no corruption. But they keep trying to stop the nation. Something will destroy the nation. You think you can, but you can't let me down. I only want to make you labor. You lay your guns up on the table. For all you rumors, you get happy. You think you can, but you can't let me down. I only want to make you labor. You lay your guns up on the table. I don't give up. I'm too short, man. Too much sugar. I'm nothing to do. I think you need me on me. Lay over my neck and touch me. I'm
And we're back. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, the Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships with human values. Tonight we're doing the Aloha live show, interviewing with Brett Labit, all the way, actually he's out of Sedona, and we were talking earlier that he grew up in California with parents that were both entrepreneurs or business people, and he did a number of companies himself, and then recently, in the last couple of years or so, working with a company called, what's the one?
The previous one?
Yeah.
So I founded Local Impact Zone.
Local Impact Zone. And now, for those of you that are interested, this has never happened before. This is the one, and maybe it's one in a series, I don't know. But for those of you watching on Ustream, or if you look, check this out on YouTube later on, Brett Labit is right next to me, literally. So here's I've had several people go, oh yeah, I'm going to come and interview with you on your show in person at your studio, and they never show up. So to me, it doesn't hurt my feelings, because either way, because I got plenty of space, but now I have to share my space with you. But that's right, all right. But that's okay. I don't mind.
Space invader.
All right. No, I don't mind. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But anyhow, so again, we talked about Brett growing up in Southern California, and then he started this other company. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, I started Local Impact Zone and then rebranded to WEVO.
Okay. And I went to a couple of his meetings up in Sedona, They're at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is too early for me. But anyhow, I ended up going to a couple of meetings. I wanted to at least check it out. And then I talked to Brett, and I said, well, why don't we bring you on for an interview? So, so we talked about earlier about the local impact zone, where you wanted to bring together entrepreneurs or business people to not only on social media and have a network and a place where they can share resources with each other, but also bring them together in person, live and in person as well.
Yeah, and where a lot of that comes from, there are already companies that do a great job of bringing businesses all into one social platform, and they've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the development of that. But what they failed to do was create a culture of real collaboration. You can go on to, I admire these companies, so I don't want to say the names, but you can go on to a big business network. You can have 10,000 connections. That doesn't mean either any of those 10,000 are adding value to your life or you're adding value to their life, just because you're digitally connected. So what we wanted to do was fill in the gap and create a culture that was collaborative, conscious, and responsible. What's collaborative mean? That we work together as parts to make a bigger whole, to make a better whole. And what is the conscious? That you're aware of the principles that will allow us to do that, that allow us to help other people get what they want, get what you want, and make the world a better place. Those are three wonderful goals to have. You know, help people get what they want, you get what you want, and let's make the world better.
Now, one of the other things that you mentioned earlier was that this process, this company, this culture, this community, is also about building right, healthy leadership, which is this planet is really in dire straits for right now.
Absolutely.
Nothing personal, but people really need to get their heads out of their butts and really get with the program, because it's just not happening. People are complaining. You know, the way that you can tell that a company has crappy leadership. You know the best way to tell about for that?
I have a couple thoughts in mind, but I'm excited to hear what you're.
Well, I'm just going to tell you straight out. Look at their overturn rate.
Yeah.
How many employees they've been hiring in and out, and I can guarantee you that if employees have been there for years, couple of years, even 2 or 3 years,
right,
they're in the right direction. But if management is in the wrong direction, it's because you look at their turnover rate, and it's high. Every 6 months they're getting new employees. Why? Because there's not leadership. The leadership is just not good.
Well, here's some facts to support what you're saying. And not that facts always are the best way to look at things, but in this case, let's just look at a few facts. So I recently was proposed an opportunity to consult a large national chain of stores. And they were going through, and they're a great chain. I won't say their name, but they're a great chain. And they did a survey with their employees because they had a lot of turnover. The number one reason people left their company, they did not like their supervisor.
Yep.
Yeah. Now the high-level leadership, like the top leadership, beautiful human beings. But without a happiness plan for all leadership, to evolve the leadership, to be authentic and genuine and understand their accountability and responsibility to leadership, then you're going to see that turnover. And so one of our WEVO DNA, out of the 8 DNA, is to me, the most important one, is authentic leadership. And I believe, if I may share, that authentic leadership, one of the first realizations that a person needs to have, it contradicts an old paradigm. And so at first you resist it. And that old paradigm is a cliche, that the world does not revolve around you. In point of fact, the whole universe does revolve around you, and you are at the center of it. Everything that goes out from you is coming back in, and you are at the center of it. The humility that you can find in that, and the accountability and responsibility of that, to me, is the first step to authentic leadership. That I am in control of only one thing, and that is, well, it's one thing that I call WEVO integrity, which is often misdefined, but I'm going to define it the way integrity really should be defined. It's not about a moral judgment of someone else. It's about congruence. And so the way we define it in WEVO as a principle is when your thoughts, emotions, feelings, words, and actions are all aligned. Whatever they are, that's authenticity. Absolutely. And that's where strength comes from, whether for good reasons or not so good reasons. The law still works no matter what. And so the realization that I had was, in point of fact, the universe does revolve around me. And I have a responsibility to that. And it revolves around you, your universe. And for each individual, they have that responsibility. So before we can change anyone on the outside, before we can expect global leaders to change, this authentic change needs to happen in us first. And it's no different than the message of the Dalai Lama or any of the other spiritual leaders.
That's exactly what I was going to say. In this book right here, it spells out the same thing, or something similar. A 90-day Ascension journey is that you know, in order for you to be a saint or a master or enlightened, you have to have a level of awareness. You have to be at a level of awareness, and that means being considerate of those around you and within you and yourself. But that also means having a level of control over your senses, having control over your mind, body, and spirit, and being able to do what you want, in the sense of speaking. But it also means having a level of control of your environment, your earth, air, water, fire, etheric elements as well. Yep. So, and when you get to a level of being able to have a level of control over all that, and a level of understanding and a level of awareness, then you know somebody's not going to come and give you a certificate and say, "Hey, you're a now master. Here you go." Right. It doesn't work that way. You know, you could be a master, and we were talking about this earlier. You can be a master for a day and experience that bliss, that energy of just complete. You know, have you ever gone through a day where everything is just like a dream, just goes so smoothly, so fluidly, and no matter if something comes at you, some kind of issue, it just melts away and goes away.
Yeah, you have inner peace.
That's what enlightenment is.
Zone, yeah.
You might experience it for one day or a week or a month, but to be doing it all the time, that's an even harder task. But that's what it is.
And that's where you know, eating the whole elephant at one time is a bit, but if you can take small steps, people will ask me all the time, Andrew, they'll say, okay, so let's say I recognize this first principle in authentic leadership, that I am at the center of my universe, that I am at the center of everything around me. What it does, and what I explain to people, is there is there's something that goes out, okay, in the way of thoughts, emotions, and feelings, and words and actions, okay? And there is a quantum effect to that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, and you can go deep down the spiritual rabbit hole, but it's not necessary for you to do that. Absolutely. You only need to know that from a very basic level, for people that are really new to this information, that in the area of authentic leadership, you need to know that there is a higher law called the law of reciprocity. That what you put out into this infinite field of potentiality is going to return in a like energy or in a like of some sort. I test this all the time and show people. So if you want love in your life, you've got to give love. You've got to be love. If you want friends, be friends. Be a friend. Give friendship. Exactly. If you want money, plant that. Give that. If you want unity, then don't be divisive. Be unified with people. If you want to be free from the judgment and expectation and manipulation and emotional control of other people, then be that, so that number one, you can recognize it in other people quickly. Exactly right. And number two, that's what you're putting out. And so it's not what I think a lot of people missed in the message of the law of attraction, and why I wrote The Real Secret and teach the webinar every Wednesday, right, is because there is an action involved too. The action has a boomerang effect. The law of reciprocity is constantly at work. So when people ask me, how is this going to bring more customers into my business? Well, because when you're putting these things out as an authentic leader, your influence is going up. Now people are hearing what you say, and they're acting on what you say, and business is coming in.
And not only are they hearing, but they're feeding you before they even show up.
They don't even know why, right? Yeah, they don't even know why. I saw a brilliant interview with Will Smith and all these famous actors talking about the law of attraction the other day, and they go, that's what we do all the time, right? Yeah, right. And I think people just kind of miss it. But now, does Will Smith put in his hours and time and skill and talent? Yeah, those aren't bad things. But for people that are sitting at home thinking they're just going to think their way to everything they want in their life, that's not the complete formula, right? It's a congruence of thoughts, feelings, emotions, words, and actions. Those all make up what I call knowing. And when you know, there's no question, there's no doubt. Knowing is 100%. Absolutely. And that's where I think...
And that's beyond faith. You know, churches teach people to have faith. And that serves its purpose. It's a developmental process.
Right.
And once you get beyond faith, you start to know.
Yeah.
And you you actually tap into a level of intuition, and then all of a sudden you start to know. It's even beyond intuition.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, your whole day is like you like in that flash of a second, it comes to you, and you go, you know exactly what you're going to do all day long, right? And it might not even have anything to do with what you were planning on doing yesterday, you know, the day before. But all of a sudden, within a flash of a second, you already know what you're going to do all day.
That's right.
So it's like that. So
yeah, it's the knowingness, and I believe it starts with at first getting to the realization that there's no one else to blame. You can blame everyone. I can't say you can or can't. But in all reality, at some point, we have to take ownership for what's been created around us. And that is where authentic leadership starts, is the humility. I believe humility is an important part, not false humility, but real humility. It's okay to be confident, but real humility. Arrogant probably isn't going to serve someone.
Well, arrogant is not necessarily being confident.
That's right. That could be, you know, actually making up for a lack of confidence. Exactly. But real humility, real responsibility, and real accountability, and this is the important thing, not to everybody's judgment of what you should be. That's not the responsibility. It's the responsibility to be authentic to yourself.
Just to be you.
Just be you.
That's right.
That's where the power comes.
Now, arrogance is a fear-based energy.
Yeah.
And so it has very little to nothing to do with confidence, if you ask me, but that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So now the other thing too is that when I talk to people, you know, the mundane rule of thumb for right healthy relationships, and that's what spiritual image production is all about, is the mundane rule guidelines for the mundane life are no blaming, no complaining, no threats, no lies, no name calling. Those 5 principles are the principles to keep you in right healthy relationship with yourself and other people around you. And again, no blaming of yourself. And usually when blaming is involved, usually that's a codependent energy. But and then once you start to get beyond that, then it's right action, right conduct, right relationships. So and you work on those levels. Not all the time true, right? So once you start to get to the more evolved of who you are, then you're dwelling in those principles.
Sure.
So it's like that.
Yeah, we have our principle in real connection and right relationship, and which is part of harmonic culture. If you're going to have struggle with harmonic culture, if you're not teaching accurate relationships or right relationships. So what we teach is a thing called WEVO freedom, and what WEVO freedom is to reduce the emotional attachment to the expectation, judgment, manipulation, and control of other people.
Exactly.
In simple terms, Allow people to be who and what they are, with an invite to evolve, a warm one, not by your words, but by your modeling, right? By your authentic leadership. Allow people to be who they are. And anytime we try to change that, anytime we try to battle that, I don't like the way you are, so I want to insert my opinion on you of what you should be.
Yeah.
There is no winning harmonic combination there.
Now the opposite to that, of all that, is being supportive, right? And you know, there's all different types of levels of being supportive.
Sure.
And you can spiritually, you know, in my practices, I support my family and my close friends when I include them in my practices on a daily basis. You can support people by calling them once a week and seeing how they are. Or, you know, I mean, there's there's all kinds of different ways of supporting people. And so the way to get beyond manipulating people and so forth is just being supportive, right? And my sister, you know, I'll call her once or twice a week or whatever, and she's told me on at least one or two occasions that I'm one of the few people, or one of the only ones that she trusts the most, because I'm being authentic with her, and I'm being supportive, and not trying to manipulate her. You know, there's been so many people that try to manipulate her, but it's like that.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and that awareness in that one interaction with you and your sister, that produces more awareness and more cause and effect. So the effect of that is a better relationship, a real connection between you and your sister. The more people realize that, the less they look for the quick fix of, I want to turn you into what I need you to be.
right?
It's not, all you have to do really is go, do I want that happening to me? And if the answer is no, then try to remove yourself from doing that to people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Exactly. Right.
And so, you know, it's definitely, and that's one of our, like you had talked about, one of our, and you brought it up brilliantly, one of our other DNA is to be an authentic giver. And I'm publishing a book called The Power of Giving. I wrote the feature chapter, and the feature chapter is on what I call the 4 G's. Give first, give consistently, give big, and give back. Now, the challenge is a lot of people read a lot of books. They talk about giving. They talk about, yeah, it's the right thing to do, and I give my 10% or whatever, okay? But in all reality, I don't want to sound judgmental here, but what I've witnessed is a lot of times it's not congruent inside the person. It's not authentic. It's not real, because it's based on convenience. It doesn't hurt me to do that in any way. Not that it needs to hurt you, but it doesn't cost anything. It may not cost something to call your sister in monetary value, but it does in time. Exactly. It does in energy.
Absolutely.
And you go out of your way to do that. That is authentic giving. When we will actually be proactive about it. And as that authentic leader sitting in the center of the universe, putting that out into everything around you from a very tactical level, just serving in your community one way or another, helping people, opening the door for someone that's walking in the coffee shop, sending a Facebook message saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. What's going on in your life? What one important thing are you working on that I can support?
Now, you said it. You hit it right on the head, the nail on the head. And I was just going to say that earlier. But the way to give back, number one, is in the form of service.
Yeah,
that's the healthiest way that you can give back. Period.
Right.
To anyone or anything, and to yourself as well. So, before you start giving, one of the things that you can do that will be helpful is to forgive all those people that ever wronged you. Just forgive them.
Yeah.
Sit down and forgive them off the bat, and let that go, because that's going to get in the way of you giving. Period.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and then once you get beyond that, then you can start being of service in a much healthier way, a better way. And so, you know, it's just really that simple. But you know, one of the final steps to being or becoming enlightened is surrender. Surrender yourself to the universe, to surrender yourself to your own path, to your own self, to that which is around you. Surrender and let go, and just, it's like going down a river. You know, if you float, have you ever floated down a river?
Oh, yeah.
And you tighten up, all of a sudden you get locked up in some rocks and you get hurt.
Get in the harmony of things that already are.
That's right.
There's a balance. There's a certain perfection to the way that things really are. Not what they seem, but what they really are. And when we get into that flow, it's amazing the magic we create.
Absolutely. So, so tell us more. Now, I guess, are the functions or the intentions for WEVO different from the other company, other corporations?
They're evolved. The intention initially started, where we were really looking at small businesses. And what happened is we realized that we really attracted 4 types. And so I had to evolve the model to accommodate all 4. And so the first person we attract, and we have a thing called, another principle called WEVO Baha'i. It's belonging, attainment, happiness, inner peace. In all of my interviews with people, I realize that people are generally looking for 4 things. They're looking for a sense of belonging. They want to be part of tribe.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but a lot of people want to be part of tribe. They're looking for attainment, things in their life, houses, cars, travel, partner, whatever. They're looking for some sense of attainment. As they evolve, they become less attached, but yet still may have or may not have those things, but they're looking for them. And then happiness. People are really seeking happiness in their life and very deferred from it oftentimes because they don't know the real secret to it. They don't know the real formula. They think the things will make them happy. So if I do this, then I will be happy.
Or people, for that matter.
Or people. If I have the right partner, then I will be happy.
Exactly
right. But if you just be happy, you'll have the right partner. Right? Or if you just be happy, you'll have the thing. And so it's the cart and the horse, and it's not an easy conversation. That's something we have to continue to evolve in. And then the inner peace. I think people want to be free from the stresses and the worries of the day. And so that's what I noticed in all of my travel and all of my work. And so, originally I thought, well, it's small businesses. But what I found is, I had this interesting story this one time. You attend the Power Breakfast in Sedona, but in Boise, the Power Breakfast had 120 to 150 people every week attend. And we have Power Breakfasts going throughout the country in different parts of the country and starting in other parts of the world now. We're looking to launch London in the UK, and we're looking to launch Canada, different parts of Canada. And so anyway, I'm walking by this gal, and she had been there week after week after week. And I think her name was Sandy, if I remember right. It was years ago. And I'm thinking we're a business network at this time. And Sandy is sitting in the crowd, and I finally had a chance to be able to say hi to her and get to know her a little bit. And I said, so Sandy, tell me about your business. And she said, oh, Brett, she said, I don't have a business. I'm a housewife. And to be honest with you, my husband isn't very nice, and I get a lot more love here every Monday morning than I do at home. And so I come to the Power Breakfast.
Well, by the way, we call the housewife, we call them home engineers.
Yeah, home engineer, domestic engineer, right? And so anyway, that opened my eyes to a different world. And I realized that our first buyer persona that gets attracted to WEVO, whether in free membership or paying membership, is someone that's seeking what we call a high vibration thriving tribe. So a high vibing thriving tribe. So people looking for belonging. Then the second is the small business. They're the people that they want to get exposure for their business, decrease their marketing costs, and increase their profits, and really build their dream. Okay, and we attract them, and we're very effective for them. And then the third one is the builder type. They resonate with our cause and our concept, and they want to perpetuate it in the world. And so they get attracted to the fact that they can actually have an opportunity to grow our opportunity and grow the tribe of WEVO. And we have a leadership structure where they can actually lead a tribe and learn the skills and be mentored to lead that. And then we attract philanthropists, people that just want to give back, and they believe that we're a real solution to some of the issues that the world faces.
Nice,
so
nice.
that's how it evolved. And with that realization, I had to evolve the model to accommodate all four.
Now, well, first of all, we got about 14 minutes, and so you have, well, with the first group, with the first business, you said that you had several thousand people in that company or in that network, and now you relabeled, changed the whole program and you're calling it WEVO now. So, what I guess what are your long-term goals and ideals and purpose and so forth for WEVO now?
Well, the long-term mission, honestly, is to have millions of members worldwide, to see harmonic culture in this specific tribe format, and to see a like-minded culture established all over the world, so that if you traveled or you're doing business abroad, or your daughter, let's say you sent your daughter to Paris for schooling, or you knew there were people there that resonated and felt the way you did about harmonic culture, and
that belong to a WEVO group.
Right, that belong to a WEVO group. So my vision and mission, and what I am laser focused on, is building this type of culture and small groups all over the world that account to millions of members. Now, about 75% of our members join for free, 25% join in a paying membership. I'm not worried about the financial side of it. It's just a byproduct of doing my love for this company.
Absolutely.
But I want to grow that into a sustainable model. And in our model, we give 10% of our revenues back to the communities that we're growing in, to cause-driven organizations. So what I would love to see is a real dent in the sustainability of authentic and powerful cause-driven organizations that need money, and we become a source of that to them. So in our model, it's built in to give money back. So it's not a question of will we have millions of members, because the people that come in contact with us love us. It's just a question of when and how. Part of the how, I think, from a very technical standpoint, is I think at some point a larger tech company will buy us because we have a loyalty that they're unable to create.
Right, exactly.
They'll provide phenomenal technology that will help us with more communication and connectivity, and we'll provide the heart and soul of real connection in tribe.
Now, are you opposed to having companies sponsor WEVO?
Well, basically, the membership is sponsorship.
No, I'm talking about a corporation that wants to just sponsor and or whatever. And I don't know how you would promote them or not promote them, but you know,
it's actually, believe it or not, built into a scalable membership. So the higher the level of membership, the more exposure for the business.
Got it.
And we have some pretty high levels of membership. Yeah, they go up into the six figures. So you know, we have free membership, $19 a month, $49. It was built along a curve, Andrew, that I saw in life early on, that I call the life and business progression. Everyone goes through it. You have survival, stability, the rewards of success, and significance. And for the first time in my business life, my business model is right in line with my heart passion to actually help people scale that curve, whatever it means to them. And that's why we structured the membership the way we did. The free members, no judgment. If someone wants to join for free, they're every bit as important as a $100,000 member. Okay? And they get every bit of love that the $100,000 member does. The $100,000 member, though, is going to get more exposure, more business exposure, higher level mastermind, more access to the academy. So when you talk about a company sponsoring, they simply just come in at higher levels. The great news about that is we can take a corporation that maybe is not resonating and operating with social responsibility, and from the inside out, we can start to influence them to be more socially responsible and more concerned about the collective.
So Donald Trump and his company would come in and sponsor WEVO, and he can become a better leader as a part of the process. Is that right?
I believe. I believe that.
So anyhow, you know, and I don't know who knows what he.
I've had people tell me that it's something I've been told at least 100 times that I need to take it to the White House.
Oh,
well, yeah, I've been asked. I've had people say that this absolutely has to go.
I think you should wait for the White House to come to you, and I think it will.
That is exactly my words.
Yeah.
Those are my words. Is that I believe the collective has brought together an idea of authentic leadership that will start at the grassroots from the inside out, and when it grows big enough, it can't be avoided.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to go fight political battles that are not winnable. I don't even want to be in a battle to begin with. What I want to do is continue to evolve and become more and more aware by observing life and by observing people and really adding that strength to myself as an authentic leader, and then influencing the people around me as authentic leaders to rise up, as Tahira said, to rise up and start leading first their own life well. And we all have work to do in that. Me, you, everyone.
I mean, it's ongoing. It's always work in progress. And I mean, even the saints, they're still work in progress. You know, Jesus, Saint Germain, Karuna Mai, Amachi, Sai Baba. They always got a level of karma. They still got to resolve no matter what.
Right.
Even if it's a tiny bit, they still have to resolve that karma. It's ongoing forever and ever, amen. Until you become the one with the head of the universe, the Godhead, and then even then, who knows where that lies?
Yeah, we still have a lot we don't know, right?
Absolutely.
So why not? So when people ask me, what is your spirituality? What is your belief system? Well, what I can tell you I know now is that when I give you a hug, you give me one back.
Right.
If I show you love, you'll typically show it back. If I will help you and support you, you typically will do it back. That's my spirituality today.
Exactly.
It's existing right here, right now, where I can make the most impact to live at my highest and best. Not perfect, just at my authentic self, at my highest and best, and always looking forward to that man that I aspire to, that I envision my higher self to be, and just continuing to be in relationship with him.
Exactly.
And that is the best I can do in my spirituality today.
Now, Sai Baba would call that the religion of love.
Yeah.
You start the day with love, you spend the day with love, you end the day with love.
It sounds good to me.
It's like that. So now, I believe we got, let me see, 6 minutes left. Anything that we haven't done? Now, first of all, if people want to get into contact with you, talk to you more about WEVO, maybe become a member or whatever, where do they go? How do they do that?
Well, sure. I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm very accessible. I love people. That's why I came out here personally versus doing this on the phone.
One of the few and only persons that's done this so far. But
well, why not? I'm honored if you feel that what I have to say is valuable enough to put me on your show. Then if I can be here, I want to be here.
Absolutely.
And reciprocate the energy. And so my phone number is always open. I guess if I start getting 1 million calls a day, I'm going to have to get a new phone number, but that hasn't happened yet. So it's 520-989-1771. Text, call. I'd love to hear from you and have a real conversation about you, not about me, but about you. And then my email is Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at WEVOglobal.com, W-E-V-O. And WEVOglobal.com is our website. So
now, if people want to start a group in their community, how easy? What's the process for that? What's the
Thanks for that question. So I learned that leadership is not something you typically can spot. If you have a really good eye, you can spot leaders. Very few people have a really good eye for a leader that can lead. So what we like to do in WEVO is we like to have you come on as a member and just start learning and start growing and start inviting people and sharing WEVO with people and learning the culture. And as you're getting benefit and the tribe is growing, we like to watch leaders emerge from the tribe. And then we appoint them as facilitators, and they'll run events. We have morning events that are weekly. We have monthly events. We have evening events. We have regional and global events. So as they rise up, we'll appoint them to maybe run a small event. Then we watch them with their accountability and responsibility with that event. And then there's opportunities for them to become a local leader or a regional leader. And then we have a very tight group of global leaders. But it's all a progression. And we want them growing through our system to be that leader so that the principles and the values and the virtues are intact and they lead the membership well.
In the right way.
Yeah.
So now one of the things we talked about, you said that people can do affiliate marketing and market WEVO as an affiliate as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there are two things that we're not, and we have no problem with these two things. They're just two things I wanted to avoid, and I wanted to avoid them for specific reasons, not judgments. We're not Facebook, where Facebook builds a 2 billion person empire and a multi-billion-dollar company on our word of mouth, and we didn't get compensated for it. Okay, so I wanted to be able to compensate people, but I didn't want to choose a network marketing or multi-level structure. So I chose affiliate marketing, like a lot of online companies do. When someone joins, they get an affiliate link. When they share that link with someone else, and they click that link, if someone becomes a paying member, then the referring member gets a recurring commission on that for the life of that membership.
Right.
And it can be substantial.
Yeah, that's right. So now, and there was one other thing that I want to talk to you about. I don't remember now, but anyhow. So anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to put out there?
You know, I would, first of all, I would say that if you haven't already, get this book. This is going to get you on the path. Andrew, I've been able to spend time with Andrew Aloha, and he's genuine, he's authentic, he's an authentic leader, and so make sure you pick up the book and pay him for it. You can get the free version, but spend some money because that's what you want people doing with you. And so there's my shameless plug.
Right? That works. Why not? And now you started up a new group in Phoenix, in the Paradise Valley area. Yeah. And then you're getting ready to start another group in
Santa Monica,
and you said also England.
Yeah, London's getting started straight away. Right now, I'm getting that leader going, and so we'll have people in the UK. We already have people wanting to attend their first meeting there and become part of the tribe. So.
Yes. So be the tribe, be WEVO.
High-vibing, thriving tribe. High vibration, thriving, and part of tribe.
Got it.
Yeah.
And if people want to start a group in their area, is that a long, lengthy process, or can it happen overnight?
No, leadership can happen in a split second, and all we need to do is recognize it. So we just need there's plenty of talk in the world. What someone wants to do is they want to get a hold of me, they want to engage our membership, and they want to start modeling our principles. And as they're modeling those principles, we appoint them. We recognize that. So, yeah, I would just have them get a hold of me.
Got it. All right, well, I want to thank you very much, Brett, for coming out here.
Oh, brother, I appreciate you. Right. Thank you.
And I appreciate you just taking the time. And, for a lot of people, they don't even have time to come out here, and that's why I do this all on the phone all the time. But, blessings to WEVO and you, and whatever happens, happens.
Oh, likewise. Right. It'll all be perfect.
Thank all of you for stopping by. Have a God-goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, always will be. Aloha.
Aloha.
Your conference recording stopped.